Yes.
That's in R&D that you have to.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
I'm gonna go talk to Molly. She knows.
Apparently.
Ah.
That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't. Ooh.
I think that was the most responsible.
Yeah.
What if I thought they? What if I thought they? Well, you get a point.
What is that? Somebody that's listening to here.
Sustainability office.
Yeah, you get to report.
Why?
During an outfit.
So it's not Elaine, that's the vendor.
No, it'll be both Elaine and Sam.
Oh, Elaine and Sam.
Yeah,
I will add-
Elaine goes and Sam. If you
Okay.
want me to write it down for you, I can.
I'll just say their first names.
Okay, that's totally fine.
Okay.
It is.
Molly, you walk him through the new update catalog. No, Dylan is going to be the cultural and sciences senator. He gets voted tonight.
That's good. Somebody.
He was on the commission
Yeah, you're right there.
last year.
Oh, okay. Okay. 3 minutes. Oh, great. This is my report.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
I think I have
Oh, cute sweater. No, but their stuff is cute, like stuff I would buy. No, it's okay. I didn't mean to respond that quick. I didn't mean to scare you like that. I'm sorry. Forgot where I was for a second. Sorry. I don't even really act like that. Only on Friday.
I'm proud.
Yeah, exactly.
You even have the thought calendar. It's like, okay, so can we meet? I need to put this on my calendar. And she was like, yep, that time works. And then you immediately sent me the invite before I even confirmed the invite. And I was like, that's one less thing I have to do.
Dan is the presenter's name. Elaine and Dan.
No.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, Elaine and
Another time. Office of Sustainability. Is that what's in the car? I've never drank a Red Bull, fun fact.
And I also have not. My favorite choice is the Rockstar or Monster until I drank 3 of them, I think, 2 hours on accident. And then I proceeded to fall asleep on accident. And then I woke up a couple hours later and my whole left side of my body was changed. And
Yeah.
I got that one thing.
Is it the Monte?
Yeah, Monday. Oh, and then
Do we know how to pronounce this name?
Jordan,
Raka?
Nate.
Nate?
Nate,
How do you pronounce this person's name?
our international affairs senator.
Rajda.
Elisha?
Elisha.
Rashta.
No, she's Egyptian.
Okay. Rashta. Melinda Monte. Monte.
Jordan Lightning.
Jordan.
Jordan, definitely.
I know it's Jordan.
Okay.
Hagen.
And then the last one is Nella.
Judicial panel.
Do we not
Oh,
have
okay,
a
go down to the first
Molly.
one, it's just missing a little bit of lemonade. Oh, but I also did it with no infusion, so that's why it looks a little bit different.
Do we not have a name tag for Alex yet?
This is the berry.
Alex.
Minority Affairs Commission.
Is that just because we're in that?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Oh, I was supposed to be roommates with Hagen's
Wait.
child. I don't know how that's running. Alrighty, ready to do my job. What's up, Virginia? Sit down. Never mind. I call this meeting to order. Are there any students to speak out this evening? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to announcements. Any announcements to the body this evening? All right, moving on, we will now proceed to our presentation tonight. Tonight, I would like to introduce Elaine and Sam from our Office of Sustainability. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Elaine is on her way, and so we'll just kind of segue to her as she gets here. Thank you very much for inviting us. We'll just be talking for about 15 minutes to kind of update you on sustainability at Ohio University. It's nice to see some familiar faces here. We worked with Luke last year, and Caden's been very involved with us this year, and we really appreciate the work that Student Senate does. So the Office of Sustainability, we're going to give you kind of just a quick introduction to some of the things that we do and the way that we are structured, and then some of the programs that we're involved with nationally and internationally, some of the recognitions that we've received. Do you guys need me to use this mic? You're good listening. You can hear me, right? Great. And then we'll follow up with a few ways that you can get involved, or you can encourage other students to get involved. So we really want to talk about sustainability, and a lot of people ask us, one of the first things, here's Elaine gets. Why don't you come right in? We just got started. So the right there is the advanced button.
Okay, we're ready to start.
I just started with the definitions. You can go right to your slides.
All right. So you can see the agenda there, starting with the definition, talking about sustainability at Ohio University, and then we'll talk about how to get involved. And Sam will jump in at some point. So, other way. All right. So sustainability. Sustainability is a word that people use all the time, and they have many different definitions for it. But there is actually an academic definition of sustainability, and this is the definition that we use. It comes from ASHE, the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education. And the idea of sustainability is that it's a triple bottom line framework, that something is sustainable if it simultaneously benefits people, planet, and prosperity. And it's really important that it's simultaneously, and that you think about not just now, but the future. It's a long-term framework. So it's often depicted with a Venn diagram, and it looks like our arrow is a little bit off, but the arrow is supposed to point to the center space where all three of those intersect, because that's where actually sustainability is. It's not sustainability if it's pointing toward great prosperity like it currently is. It's only sustainability if it considers all three of those pieces of all those spheres of sustainability. And so it's a multi-criteria systems thinking framework. It's a decision-making framework, and it actually is a core competency for students and for decision makers alike. So it's really important to kind of understand just the general idea of what sustainability is. It's not just a word you throw out when you feel like you're doing something that's green. You know, it's more substantial than that. All right, so why do we have a sustainability program at Ohio University other than it's the right thing to do? Well, back in 2007, our president at the time, former President Rod McDavis, signed the American College and Universities President's Climate Commitment. It's changed name since. It's called the Carbon Commitment. At this point, they rebranded, but it still has the same goals, the same requirements. So it is a commitment to reach carbon neutrality at some point and to have goals and steps along the way. It requires a sustainability and climate action plan. It requires annual reporting of our greenhouse gas emissions. And it also requires goals related to teaching students and doing research in the field of climate change, climate reduction, carbon neutrality. So these are actually some goals that we already have. Our main goal is carbon neutrality by 2050. A lot of people say that's too late, and I think they're right, it is too late, but we do have pretty significant steps along the way, intermediate goals that really step us along that path. So we are committed to reducing our greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2026, and that's from a fiscal year 12 baseline. That 36% of our energy will come from renewables by 2026. We also have some academic goals. 7.5% of our courses should offer sustainability-related learning outcomes, and that 25% of our researchers or 75% of our departments will have research that considers sustainability or climate. All right, so how do we do this? So this is probably the most interesting organizational chart you'll ever see, just like sustainability, which is a complex framework. Our organizational chart is complex as well. And so in that yellow center there, that's our office, our administrative office. Our staff is me. I'm half-time sustainability, half-time energy management. It's Sam. I hope he introduced himself, Associate Director of Sustainability. He's 3/4 time. We have 3 graduate assistants, and we have about 6 undergrads that work in our office. So, but besides our core office, it's the core support for sustainability, we have 3 hubs, and these are led by affiliated faculty members, and each hub is charged with advancing the initiatives in 4 different themes from our sustainability and climate action plan. So the infrastructure hub, for example, is buildings, energy, water, and waste. And you can see the others there. So this is a faculty member leads those hubs. They have a GA associated with them. And then the entire organization is overseen by the Sustainability Committee. This is an Ohio University Sustainability Committee. I believe it's the only committee that's called an executive committee. It's tri-chaired by the provost, the vice president for finance administration, and the vice president for student affairs. So we meet twice a year and talk about that. The other thing is our mission. Our mission is to facilitate the implementation of that Ohio University Sustainability and Climate Action Plan, and to provide support and services to the campus and community, and to ensure fulfillment of those commitments. So that's our office. This is the Sustainability and Climate Action Plan. So this was created, it was a university and community effort to update the Sustainability and Climate Action Plan. We had one that was created in 2011, the sustainability portion in 12, the Climate Action Plan. It was updated last year in the summer of 2021. It has 16 themes, it has 32 goals, and those goals range from things like reducing our carbon emissions to reducing our waste. It has goals for water and research and buildings and energy and procurement and investments and all kinds of things. It's pretty much anything you can possibly imagine that happens at the university has a sustainability goal related to it. And this is our roadmap to net zero. So this is how we plan to get to carbon neutrality. As you can see, if you look at 2050, that graph does not actually go all the way to zero. It only goes to about 40,000 metric tons of equivalent carbon dioxide. So we have remaining emissions that we need to offset. So this tells us that although we started out close to 200,000 metric tons of equivalent carbon dioxide, and we are, if you see 2021 was the last year that we've reported for, it takes a while to gather our emissions data. So we're right now gathering our fiscal year 22 emissions data. But the last year we had data for included COVID, so it was very low. We have more than met that 50% reductions goal of our carbon emissions if you use last year's data, but it was COVID data, so we assume it will go back up. So you can see how that gray bar goes back up in 2022. A couple more things to note about this. So in carbon emissions, there are 3 scopes, scopes 1, 2, and 3. Scope 1 is things that we burn on campus, or that it includes like fertilizers that we use. It includes the miles our university vehicles travel, but mostly it includes our heating of our buildings. And so that is the blue bar on the bottom. The orange is our electricity purchases. We do purchase RECs for every single kilowatt hour of electricity that we use on this campus and all our regional campuses. So you can see how that orange section goes to 0. We are at 0 now in terms of calculating emissions. RECs are not maybe the best way to reduce your emissions, and we could talk about that more if you want, but they're an instrument that allows you to say that you've reduced your emissions because you've paid for somebody else to reduce their emissions. So we, in terms of our carbon emissions, can say that our electricity is carbon neutral at this point, starting as of like last January. But our scope 3 emissions are all the things that we do, like if you live in the dorms and you eat food here, that goes into the carbon emissions. If you drive to campus or home from campus, that goes into our carbon emissions. In fact, there's a transportation survey out right now, and if you haven't taken it, please take it, because that helps feed our data for our carbon emissions. It includes like every piece of paper that we purchase on the campus and things like that. So those are going to be things that are a little bit harder to reduce, and we don't have strategies yet for how we will reduce those. So we hope that we will come up with those strategies. The assumptions for the graph are on the right, so you can look at that at your leisure if you want. And then I think we'll move on to recognitions. Sam.
So Elaine showed you the slide that had pulled out from the plan all of the goals that are embedded in the plan. The plan is very extensive. If you're interested in any single goal or a series of goals, any theme, or looking for more information about the carbon emissions, etc., please go to our website, ohio.edu/sustainability, and you can dig much deeper than what you've seen here on the screen. I'm just going to go through a few of sort of the way the university has been recognized nationally and internationally for sustainability. The Race to Zero is an initiative that is the Race to Zero Carbon that the university is a partner to. Bee Campus USA is a relatively new initiative done by the Xerces Society that promotes pollinator and other naturalized habitats on campus, so it's a grounds-related initiative. STARS, we are a STARS Silver institution, and STARS is that rating system that is used by the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education. We hope to get to gold one day. We've been very close, but we are a silver institution. We are a member of the Green Power Partnership, the EPA. We are number 18 in the college and university lists in the nation for really for our 100% REF purchases or renewable energy certificates. Underneath that, the Green Building Council, we are a silver institution within the USGBC, and that is the organization that utilizes the LEED rating system, the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, to help us build our buildings more environmentally, more sustainably friendly. And we have about 16 LEED certified buildings on campus. Over 1 million square feet of our approximately 8 million square feet are LEED certified. We are a bicycle-friendly university. We started that program in 2017, being recognized by the League of American Bicyclists at the bronze level, and we recently were elevated to the silver level. We really encourage everybody to ride their bikes to campus as well as around campus. Our excellent campus recycling and zero waste department, a separate office from the Office of Sustainability, but very close partners of ours. You know Andrew Ladd, the manager of that, or Joanna Sokol, the coordinator. They run the what used to be called Recycle Mania, but a number of competitions. It's now called the Race to Zero Waste, to try to get as close to zero waste as possible. And they've won the Game Day Recycling Challenge a number of years, and other high-level competitions that are really international competitions with hundreds of institutions participating. As Elaine mentioned, we are a signatory to the Carbon Commitment, and we have identified 2050 as our carbon neutral target date. That has been moved up. It initially was 2075, and due to the progress that the institution has made, and some encouragement, that target date was moved up to 2050, which is excellent. We are also a Tree Campus higher education campus. This program used to be called Tree Campus USA. There's also a Tree City USA. The city of Athens, Ohio is also a Tree City USA. And this really helps us to protect our tree canopy and to report to the Arbor Day Foundation what we do to protect our trees on campus. These are some of the examples, and we've really already talked about these, but Elaine talked about our Scope 1 and 2 emissions, and you know, really how much we are down from that fiscal year 12 baseline, and the progress we're making both for 2026 as well as towards 2050. And then again, those renewable energy certificates, which is a big way for us to move forward on this, but not the only way. We'd love to see some renewable energy installations, some solar arrays, large scale, as part of our institutional electricity generation. And we're working towards getting there, as well as lots of other possible ways to get towards that carbon neutrality. And I've already mentioned the 1 million square feet of. So how can you all get involved, or how can you all encourage your constituents to get involved? Well, the number one way is, I'd say, sign up for our newsletter. We have a bi-weekly, every other week newsletter that lists all the events that are coming up, and all of the information that we have from faculty and students about the work that they're doing, whether it be research or working in the community. And if you sign up for that newsletter, you'll stay on top of the events and all the things that we are offering as an office. You could also directly apply for a work-study position. We have a number of work-study positions currently open in the office, and we'd love to have your involvement, or you to share with other students that those positions are open. Our email address is sustainability@ohio.edu, so shoot us an email and let us know you're interested. The Climate and Sustainability Ambassadors is the first initiative of the faculty member who leads the Sustainable Administration Hub, Dr. Ryan Folk, in geography, meteorology. He started the Climate and Sustainability Ambassadors as a volunteer student program to work directly on sustainability initiatives on campus and in the community. Obviously, sustainability doesn't just stop at the campus edge, but we're all about the local community as well. So Ryan has a twofold approach of working on initiatives on campus and also doing outreach events and getting into local schools and talking about climate education and other initiatives. The Climate Sustainability Ambassadors are just a terrific group who do storm drain marking and help us with grounds issues and Bobcat Bike Ballet and all sorts of things that we do to try to make the university more sustainable. So that's a really terrific way to get involved on campus. We also have a sustainability project laboratory. And if you've got a project, an idea, or something that you're actually actively working on, we'd love you to submit that. And then we can work through GivePulse to try to attract people to that project. We have lots of events, obviously, about sustainability, including next week, our Sustainable Thanksgiving dinner at the Ohio Eco House. Now we're at the Eco House. It is on Dairy Lane on the backside of the ridges, just about a mile from the Congo, a little less than a mile from the Congo. And it's a free event, very sustainably minded. We'll talk about sustainable holiday traditions, and it's a vegetarian Thanksgiving dinner. So no turkey. If you're looking for turkey, you can get that on your own. You can plan a green event. We have a green event guide that'll help walk you through all the pieces of really having a sustainable event. Thinking about transportation, thinking about emissions, thinking about waste, and all the things you can do for an event. And of course, you can take a sustainability course or even have a sustainability major. We put Caden on here because he's been a valuable partner of ours, as with Luke. And if you have any questions, he works with the ambassadors and he's involved in a lot of the initiatives that we do. And we really appreciate the work that he does and that all of you do. Do you have any questions for Elaine or myself?
All right, just a reminder to everyone, address your questions to me and I'll call on you and then you all can go ahead and answer. Any questions? I know we have some.
You mentioned Give Pulse. That's actually something that a lot of athletic teams are talking about partnering with. So do you have any examples of sustainability projects that you can do around here that are happening through Give Pulse?
So Give Pulse is a platform that we use to market our events and to encourage participation. And so it's a registration system for us. And we didn't mention athletics, but I'll go ahead and mention athletics since you brought it up. We have a close relationship with the athletics department, and we have what's called a Athletics and Sustainability Task Force. And that task force was created about 5 years ago to try to look into athletic events and how we can help the athletic department make those events more sustainable. It really started talking about waste issues and talking about Peden Stadium and how we can really capture and divert the waste from football games from the landfill. And it's morphed into a lot of other programs. We have a new program called Players for the Planet. Our first player of the planet was a senior soccer player named Reagan Berg, MAC first team. And she joined the Athletics and Sustainability Task Force. And we highlighted her as a player for the planet and what she hopes she can do on campus and the rest of her career. Sasha Dikotla, a field hockey player, was another player of the planet. And she is studying renewable energy and other systems. The volleyball game next Wednesday, the 16th, is the volleyball green game or player for the planet. For that game, we are doing a coach for the climate. Coach Jeff Carlson has joined our program to encourage climate study and climate research and what we can do to reduce our carbon emissions. So back to your question, we use Give Pulse as a platform, and it's a great way if you put in sustainability to search for events. You can find out what's going on there. You can also use the calendar of university events to find out what's going on or go directly to our website. But we'd love to be more involved with athletics. If anybody has any more suggestions, we would love to do more and more. I'm a big sports fan myself, and so I get excited about being at these events and knowing that there are students out there on the field or on the court who really care about things beyond the game itself and are involved academically in sustainability. I think it's very exciting to have student athletes involved with other things on campus. But that's a good question. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question to ask. What does zero waste really mean?
What a great question. You know, is it possible? I often get that question, right? Is it possible? Unfortunately, I would say that it's currently it's not possible. And part of that is because of not decisions made here locally but it's more decisions made at the state level or the national level or the international level. The best example is sort of plastic film, right? We can't recycle plastic film, the plastic bags. Let me stand back. They are recyclable, but they're not recyclable here locally. We don't accept them in our waste stream either on campus or in the residence in the city of Athens. You can collect all your plastic bags and take them to the Kroger store, or I believe even Walmart, and put them in a place where those corporations can then, in a very large scale, have them turned into benches or furniture, things like that. But that's a problem. I don't want to get too much into the sort of state of Ohio politics, but the state has certain regulations about trying to deal with the plastic bag issue. And so we can't do some of the things we'd like to do locally to try to keep plastic bag use down because of some state restrictions. But really, zero waste is about, I kind of think of it as a mentality, right? I know what's recyclable, and I know when I'm trying to, that I have something that I don't want anymore, my first thought is, can I reuse this, right? That's the best thing, is can I reuse this? Well, how can I repurpose this? How can I make this still has value, it still has wealth, how can I utilize that? And then the second thing is, okay, I have no reason for this, or I've got plenty of these, okay, then is it recyclable? Can I at least keep it, divert it from the waste stream and not have it go in the landfill? And then there are things, I think everybody, you know, we have our landfilled waste that does get picked up either on campus or in the community and gets taken to the landfill. Food waste, composting is another kind of initiative that's very popular, and we're really trying to encourage that here on campus in the city of Athens. All of that food waste, that has a lot of value still in it, a lot of nutrient value there. Also, when it ends up in the landfill, it is a methane producer, and methane is a very dangerous greenhouse gas. So when that food waste ends up in the landfill, it produces methane, which just continues our problem with carbon emissions and with the climate. So zero waste is tough, I agree. That's a great question, but we can all strive to be better, I think, and to know what we can do. And I'm hopeful that in the decades when you guys are older, we will have new ways of dealing with our waste, and maybe we can really get to a zero waste society. Great question.
Thank you. Commissioner Hibbs.
Yeah, I was just wondering what you guys are doing specifically to promote sustainability, not just on campus, but in the city of Athens.
You want to talk, Elaine?
Sam is the perfect person because Sam is also a city council member of the city of Athens. And he's the city council representative to the Sustainability Commission. And so he's actually the perfect person to answer that.
And Elaine and I have both been on the city's Environment and Sustainability Commission for a long time. Elaine was one of the first members, I believe, the charter members of that commission, and I joined a year or so later. So, you know, as I said before, sustainability, the initiatives that we're trying to do here on campus or that we're trying to do in the city, we work very closely with one another, because you can't just think about zero waste on campus and not think about it in the community. You can't think of something in the community and not think about how it impacts campus. We live in this incredible community, I believe, where Athens and the university have grown up together. Our history is intertwined. Our history is together from the very, very beginning. And there's no way to separate us. And that just reinforces this idea about sustainability. Is you can't just think about it in your little house, or you can't just think about it on your street, or in your residence hall, or in your building. It's got to be everywhere. Now, we know that we can't really impact Columbus, Ohio, or Cleveland. We'd like to work with the entire state, but we do know that we can impact our campus and our local community. So we talk a lot about local communities and try to have the initiatives that we have on campus really extend out into the local community. And then conversely, also the things that we're doing at the city level, we try to bleed into the campus and work with our partners. So pretty much everything we do, Kate, we're trying to make both those things happen, both on campus and in the community.
All right, we have about 3 minutes left.
Okay, before this, I was in a meeting with a professor who works at the Eastern campus, and he was talking about how a deal was just signed with some company and they're getting like hundreds of $1,000s because they're doing fracking on campus. So I was wondering if you knew a little bit about that project, and then like the financial benefits versus like environmental ramifications.
So I'd like Elaine to come back down here because we're getting into her area. And I also want you to see that she does have this wonderful dog in her lap, which I got to pet before it started. But look at this. This is just this incredible dog. Yeah, Elaine, you want to talk about, so the Eastern campus, I don't know if you're familiar with Dysart Woods, but this is a university-owned property near the Eastern campus, which is an old growth forest. And there have been issues about the gas and mineral rights underneath that forest. It's been a few years since these issues have been come up, but I don't know exactly what she's referring to.
I have not heard of that, except for I will say that 4 or 5 years ago, we had, some major meetings on campus about did we want to allow fracking anywhere on Ohio University's campuses. And it was decided that it made sense to allow each campus to make their own decision. And I believe that every campus decided that they did not want to allow fracking at the same time while we were trying to reach, carbon neutrality, except for the Eastern campus. And sustainability is a triple bottom line framework. So it is really important to think about people, planet, and prosperity. And Eastern is one of those campuses. I'm not all that familiar with it, but my understanding is that it is, like many of our campuses actually, that it's in an area that was, maybe former coal mining that relies a lot on, their source of income depends a lot on fossil fuel industries. And so it's important. I remember years ago having a conversation with somebody saying that they thought we should buy all our food locally, and if it raised all the prices, they should keep the prices down for students and just get rid of all the staff. And I said, well, let's think about that a little bit more, because if we have no staff, then we have no food for our students. And then, of course, the student went, oh, well, of course, I didn't mean that, but it is important when you think about things like, should we allow fracking? I would hope that the calculation that somebody would be able to do would be able to be something that simultaneously benefits all three of those things, the environment, the people, and prosperity. But in some cases, people make decisions that aren't that complete sustainability. And I think I better leave it at that because, sometimes it's a tough decision. I am glad though that here on the Athens campus, we have been able to make decisions to not rely on fracking. So really good question. Can I throw in too that I think your question about the Sustainability Project Lab, we have a lot of kind of cool projects in there. They're usually like longer term projects, but one of the first projects in there was to do research on how to create a hammock park on campus. And that was really fun to actually see that get opened just recently. It isn't exactly how the student proposed it, but it is pretty neat that that started out as a Sustainability Project Lab. And we have projects in there ranging from like building a bike bus for driving people around campus to like looking at the impacts of laundry. There's a group that was just proposing that we remove the hot weather taps to our laundry because we don't really need to wash clothes in hot water. So there are a lot of different projects. I also wanted to say in terms of the city that I think this is an unusual campus, that our city is actually incredibly sustainable, probably even more sustainable than the campus. So that's pretty cool. And then there was one other thing I was going to say, but I've forgotten. So that's good. Yeah. Any other?
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. But if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to our Office of Sustainability. And thank you so much for answering our questions in your presentation tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Will the Chief of Staff please call roll?
President Shoulders,
Present.
Vice President Cooley,
Present.
Treasurer Robinson,
Present.
Senator Handel, Senator Zanatelli,
Present.
Senator Diggins, Senator Phelps, Senator McCarty, Senator Thomas, Commissioner Barginer, Senator McMullen, Commissioner Hibbs,
Present.
Commissioner Gordia,
Here.
Senator Lopez,
Present.
Commissioner Gillette, Here. Senator Bacasio.
Present.
Commissioner Peters. Present. Commissioner Zarbaugh. Commissioner Woods. Senator Tandon. Senator Farmer. Senator Davis. Commissioner Handle. Here. Senator Spinner Smith. Senator Huntsman. Senator Wolf. Commissioner Ajay. Clerk Report Siler.
Present.
We have quorum.
Thank you. All right. Is there any discussion on the previous meeting minutes? Are there any objections to approving the previous meeting minutes? All right, seeing none, minutes are approved. Are there any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to old business. There's no old business tonight. All right. First up, we have Senate Resolution 2223-59, a resolution to remove classified Senate from the Student Trustee Selection Committee in the Rules and Procedures. Whereas there is a Student Senate at Ohio University, and whereas the Senate is governed by the Rules and Procedures, and whereas the Judicial Panel is tasked with supplying interpretations of the Rules and Procedures when necessary, and whereas Chapter 8, Section 7 of the Rules and Procedures states that there shall be a standing committee for the student trustee selection, and whereas under the current Rules and Procedures, Chapter 8, Section 07, Subsection E lists 14 permanent positions on the committee, including the chair of classified Senate, and whereas Chapter 8, Section 07, Subsection F states the chair of classified Senate is allowed to appoint a designee in their absence, and whereas the classified Senate at Ohio University no longer exists, and whereas leaving mentions of classified Senate in the Rules and Procedures will cause confusion in the future when assembling the committee, and whereas the Judicial Panel met with quorum to discuss this issue, therefore it be resolved that Chapter 8, Section 07, subsections E and F are amended in the Rules and Procedures to remove the chair of classified Senate as a member of the committee as shown in Appendix A and on the screen. Primary sponsor, Ms. Lavina Cooley.
Yes, so I don't have too much more to say on this. I believe about a year ago now, maybe a little bit more, classified Senate voted to unionize and thus no longer exist. Basically, like I said, because they no longer exist, it would be very confusing and unnecessary to leave them in the Rules and Procedures on the committee. And this just essentially leaves the committee back down to the Senates and the governing bodies of the university, which still maintains its same integrity as always, even though there's now 13 members of Senate on it. And that is the end of, I reserve the balance of my time.
Secondary sponsor, Ms. Emily Zeiler.
Yeah, there's not much else to really say about this. One of the biggest things that we're trying to do this year with our R&P is to make sure that everything is like clarified so it's not hard for people to understand it in the future. And one of those things is getting rid of something that does not exist anymore. So yeah, with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Do I hear a motion? It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-59. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, resolution passes. Senate Resolution 2223-60, a resolution to appoint a Minority Affairs Commissioner to the Student Senate. Whereas there is a Student Senate at Ohio University, and whereas the Rules and Procedures state that there shall be a Minority Affairs Commissioner within the Student Senate, and whereas there is currently a vacancy in the Minority Affairs Commissioner position, and whereas applications were solicited and interviews conducted, be it resolved that Alex Parker be appointed as the Minority Affairs Commissioner for the 2022-2023 academic year, and be it further resolved that this appointment be effective immediately following the adjournment of this meeting. Primary sponsor, Ms. Lavina Cooley.
I have had the pleasure to work with Alex previously, since she was a vice commissioner. She's done very well in that role. After Oli's former commissioner Arambala's departure, Alex stepped up to kind of be the acting commissioner in that place and did very well with that. So far, she's expressed a very willingness to connect minority orgs on campus, and also create a more disability-minded commission, because Minority Affairs does also include people who have disabilities and various divergent identities and all of that. She's also expressed a very willingness to make sure all of those campus students are incorporated as well. And I'm sure that she will also continue to be a very positive addition to the Senate body, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Secondary sponsor, Mixed Nathaniel Padilla.
Yeah, Alex already showed potential in her time as the minority affairs vice president, so I feel like she will continue that as a commissioner. I know that was amazing, and she already has a lot of ideas and conversations, especially telling me all about the one that I've been having with her, and I think that the we have I have good faith to be able to lead this commission to success. So I remember that with my time.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-60. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Senate Resolution 2223-61, a resolution to appoint a senator to the Minority Affairs Commission. Whereas there is a student senate at Ohio University, and whereas the rules and procedures states that there shall be senators within the Minority Affairs Commission, and whereas there is currently a vacancy for senators in the Minority Affairs Commission, and whereas applications were solicited and interviews conducted, be it resolved that Jordan Lightning be appointed as senator for the Minority Affairs Commission for the 2022-2023 academic year, and be it further resolved that this appointment be effective immediately following the adjournment of this meeting. Primary sponsor, Ms. Lavina Cooley.
I had the pleasure to interview Jordan last week, and she was very much delightful to be around. She has a really good understanding of the need for both policy and programming and the various ways that they need to intersect. She also has experience working with event creation with the Black Student Cultural Programming Board, and I'm sure she'll be a great addition to the team. And I'm very excited at the prospect that the commission will also have a senator as well, because there's only so much that one individual is able to accomplish. And I reserve the balance of my time.
Secondary sponsor, Mixed Nathaniel Padilla.
Jordan is very passionate about diversity and equity, and she wants all of the communities of our university to put together and create a safe space for everyone. She understands that in a team we need respect and communication, and I believe with her outgoing personality that I saw in the 30-minute interview, that she will do an amazing job building connections and making a difference on campus. And I reserve the balance of my time.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Do I hear a motion?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-61. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstention? Resolution passes. Senate Resolution 2223-62, a resolution to match donations for Engineering Ambassadors USPS Operation Santa fundraiser. Whereas there is a Rusk College senator sitting on the Academic Affairs Commission of the Ohio University Student Senate, and whereas Engineering Ambassadors is an organization within the Rusk College of Engineering consisting of students representing all majors within the college, and whereas Engineering Ambassadors is holding a fundraiser through USPS Operation Santa to raise money for families in financial need to provide children of those families with Christmas gifts. And whereas the fundraiser will be taking place from November 14th to 22nd this year. And whereas the amount of money raised will be totaled and confirmed by Engineering Ambassadors Vice President Hagen Childers on November 22nd, 2022. And whereas the participants in the fundraiser will be the constituents of the Rusk College Senator, and whereas the support of the Ohio University Student Senate in this fundraiser will greatly impact families in financial need throughout the United States, so be it resolved. Ohio University Student Senate will match all financial donations up to a total of $1,500, and be it further resolved, during the week of November 28th to December 2nd, 2022, the money allocated from Ohio University Student Senate will be transferred to Engineering Ambassadors Organization account. Primary sponsor, Ms. Emily McCarty.
Hi, so basically Operation Santa is a really cool thing that we're going to fundraise for, and basically kids just send their letters to Santa like normal, but families in financial need can send their letters to a specific address where they will then be posted on the USPS website for people to adopt. And then through that, you adopt their letters, they send you a QR code, and basically you can buy the Christmas gifts on their list and send them back to USPS, and they'll send them to the family. So no confidentiality or anything is broken in any way. I think that having Student Senate support this fundraiser will be really good, because after speaking with a lot of my constituents in the Rusk College, they said that it would help motivate them to donate, because even a smaller contribution will still feel like they're doing something because it will be matched by Student Senate. And it will demonstrate that as a body, Student Senate supports children and families in a financial need, which is the largest minority group in this regional area. So I think that that's really important to show that we are supporting those people. And with that, I was with that.
Secondary sponsor, Ms. Hagen Childers. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Okay. So yes, I'm Hagen Childers. I'm vice president of the Rusk College Engineering Ambassadors, and I second everything that Emily had to say. We're really excited about this fundraiser and collecting these donations so that we can make children's financial or make their businesses like really good for them.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
I think this would be a great initiative for Senate to get behind. Senate as an institution has a lot more money than a lot of our organizations do, and it is our job to help support our constituents and back the initiatives that they want to put on. Given that, I think it would be really great if Senate can reallocate some of that money to them and help support them. And since it does have the cap, it does have like a certain amount, so it's not like we're just matching an unknown amount. And so I think having that certain amount, make sure that it's within a reasonable amount that we are able to allocate. And I think it's just really great initiative overall. And I was at the balance of my time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So additionally, when Senator McCarty reached out to me with this amazing opportunity, I thought I would rather do nothing else. So as a body, we would be matching the amount that is raised by the Rusk College Engineering Ambassadors. Because the amount of the wish list, like Senator McCarty said, is not available to us until the letters are received, that would be after our last GBM. So instead of Senator McCarty submitting a budget request, this will be an allocation with a cap to the match fundraising amount of $1,500. But that's the end of mine.
I have a question for you. How is this being marketed to Rusk College students?
So basically, Engineering Ambassadors is, well, first of all, it hasn't been marketed that Senate is going to be matching anything yet. We were waiting for
Right,
today.
yeah.
But we're sending out posters to everyone, and then there's TVs in the college that are going to have different slides saying like how you can donate, and there's another fundraiser going on at the same time. So it's going to actually be taking place in the atrium, which is where all the students go through. Every day from 2 to 5 p.m. there will be people tabling, and they'll be collecting the money for that, as well as collecting food for a food drive. So even people who may not have heard about this fundraiser might be dropping off food to that fundraiser and then being like, oh, let me also help out with that. So hopefully getting the word out that way, and then food flyers.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion? It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-62. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Senate Resolution 2223-63, a resolution to appoint a College of Arts and Sciences senator to the Student Senate. Whereas there is a Student Senate at Ohio University, and whereas the rules and procedures states that there shall be a College of Arts and Sciences senator within the Student Senate, and whereas there is currently a vacancy in the College of Arts and Sciences senator position, and whereas applications were solicited and interviews conducted, be it resolved that Dylan DeMonte be appointed as College of Arts and Sciences senator for the 2022-2023 academic year, and be it further resolved that this appointment be effective immediately following the adjournment of this meeting. Primary sponsor, Ms. Lavina Cooley.
Yeah, so I got to work with Dylan last year when Dylan was in Senate, and he did a lot of really good things. He was really in tune to the needs of the students, especially in relation to the academics, and he continued to express that in his interview, especially in relation to arts and sciences. He had some concerns about failure rates among students, some ways we can improve the math classes, and then also recognizing that there can be a very big textbook discrepancy between students who are able to purchase the textbooks and those who are not. He also knows that Senate has previously had some initiatives around textbooks, and is more than willing to help bring those back, and was trying to make them better than they were before. And so he's already shown a really strong dedication to the body, to those initiatives, to making the lives of arts and sciences students maybe a little bit easier as well. And I'm sure he'll be a great addition to the Academic Affairs Commissioner, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Secondary sponsor, Nate Padilla.
Yeah, as Dr. Lee said, I also got to work with Dylan last year, and now he's back and better than ever. He had a phenomenal interview and came with so many great ideas. Dr. Lee talked about them a little bit ago. He cares a lot about the students in the arts and science department and wants to do his best to create a healthy learning environment for them, and I have no doubt that he'll be able to do that. And I think he would do awesome. So I was involved in my time.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Yes.
I love to see this just because Dylan is one of the most hardworking individuals that I know. So I'm very excited on his return to Student Senate, and especially within the role that he is taking on, I'm very confident in his overall ability to perform. So with that is the,
You guys reserve your time. We're not there yet.
sorry.
Any other discussion? It's been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-63. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Senate Resolution 2223-64, a resolution to appoint an international affairs senator to the Student Senate. Whereas there is a Student Senate at Ohio University, and whereas the rules and procedures state that there shall be an international affairs senator within the Student Senate, and whereas there is currently a vacancy in the international affairs senator position, and whereas applications were solicited and interviews conducted, be it resolved that Rakta Eshalaudli be appointed as International Affairs Senator for the 2022-2023 academic year, and be it further resolved that this appointment be effective immediately following the adjournment of this meeting. Primary sponsor, Nate Patia.
Rocco wants to be part of Student Senate because she wants to leave an impact on students and do something great. And in her interviews, she showed that with her experience in communication-based field and international relations, that she will be able to do things like this and make a difference in students' lives. And she'll be able to provide unique viewpoints to the international affairs commission. So I really think that was nice.
Secondary sponsor, Ms. Molly Pennington.
Yeah, I also had the pleasure of sitting in on Rasha's interview, and through her experience, not only as an international student herself, but with very various international affairs issues, especially with international women's issues. I think that she is going to provide a very useful perspective to the International Affairs Commission, and I think she's bringing a lot of great ideas that are going to help further the existing goals of this commission and make sure that they can get accomplished what they would like to. And with that, our discussion.
Is there any discussion on this resolution?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so Ragda is my friend, and I'm the person that, had initially invited her to join Senate, and I'm so excited to have her on my team, and I look forward to having her there. Ragda is originally from Egypt, but she has studied in Italy, she's studied in Turkey, and now she's here in the US, and I'm pretty sure there are other places that she studied that I've forgotten, but she is just such an incredible student. She's actually in DC right now. That's why she's not at the meeting tonight, because she's at DC right now, representing the Fulbright students. So she's already done a lot in terms of representing international students, and so I think she will bring a very unique and important perspective to my commission. So I'm very excited to have her on board. That's it.
Thank you.
Also, do I have to abstain because she's my friend? Do I have to abstain for the vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-64. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions?
I abstain.
Put it in the chat, okay. Resolution passes. Commission reports.
So Faith and I will be meeting with Ann Brandon tomorrow to discuss finding a healthcare for Pride Week, seeing if, even in the cards. And we've also been in correspondence with Brittany Barton, the Assistant Director of Operations Engagement at Communication Center, about restroom signs. We've determined from that correspondence that it's highly likely that we turn it by in order to get. And I will be meeting with Jared Doherty, Assistant Director at the next week to discuss it. In our last meeting, we went over how legislation is written and it should be sent in order to meeting when we write our legislation.
Thank you. Commissioner Goodell.
So, the voter guides have finished. That was technically last week, but I wasn't here, so I should probably give an update. I would consider that a success. They're finished. We're probably gonna move to start this to be a every 2 years type of thing, just for future student senate. We have, speaking about that, with the bill that was passed, I think about a month ago now, we've set up further meetings that will take place in December to further the discussions of the bill and how we can lead to some sort of solution that works for everyone. We also did receive an official response from Provost Elizabeth Sayers and Dr. Schaefer. If you'd like a copy of that, I'd be glad to send you one. Just please send me an email or shoot me a Slack DM. And now my commission is redirecting focus to work on a potential fire heat. Send my report.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a SAC bi-weekly meeting on the 6th of November, and we received 6 applications, which 3 of them were approved for funding. So in total, we have application for funding totaling $2,587.70, and the total approval was $483.02. And we have the deadline for the semester funding approaching. It's on the 11th of November. So any organization intending to apply, it's so open until the deadline. The end of the month.
Thank you. Commissioner Hess.
So we're finally, or finalizing our recycling education pamphlets and hoping to put them out at a tabling session before Thanksgiving break. Still waiting to hear back for our potential assistance on our Qualtrics survey. If we can't get it out before Thanksgiving, probably wait until January, just because we don't believe that we're going to get a whole lot of responses if we're getting it out potentially during exam week. I'm trying to set up a meeting with the mayor to get his approval on an opt-in green fee. And finally, the Sustainability Network recently received an invitation from Xavier College to join an intercollegiate regional council. And I think that that should be discussed because joining this council could really continue to put Ohio University on the map in terms of sustainability, and working with other schools in the Midwest will make that very much more possible at a wider level. And that's the end of my.
Thank you.
Okay, like Commissioner Gordillo said, all of our voting projects are done. I hope everyone went out and voted yesterday, got their cute little sticker. Emerson had her first week of Senate, so our commission is officially full, which is very exciting. Still working on the projects we talked about last week, so I know Shamil had some exciting updates about planning for meditation night, and Wiley has gotten a bunch of responses from women's orgs she's been reaching out to, so we'll be able to start going to their meetings and seeing what's up with our constituents. Community's still working on the walk a mile in her shoes we want to do in the spring, and our Vice Commissioner Madeline is working on a women empowerment art series prepared with St. Patrick's Night. I'm also in conversation with Steve Mack from Facilities about specific bathroom data for our periods projects. I don't know why I did that to myself, alliteration. And I'm also going to reach out to Dr. Fowler to see when we're starting meetings for St. Patrick's Night planning. We have lots of fun stuff we're working on, and I'm very proud of my full, lovely, big team and the passion they have for all the projects we're working on. And that was my work.
Thank you.
I had a meeting with housing about room selection. They kind of explained to me why room selection is set up a certain way, sort of the decisions that they made to see who gets priority in different selections, stuff like that. They definitely feel that they would come talk with a lot of experience in room selection locally, so that anyone who has questions is answered. And they're also looking for ideas about to alleviate stress for students who might pick towards the end of the week of the selection process, because that often can be very nerve-wracking for people. And then hopefully, I don't think it'll be done in time for finals, but this spring, trying to chair up the study rooms in the parks and residence halls, and then also really pay attention to the resources in the LLC, and then also the study people in Jeff, because they are really
Thank you. Commissioner Berger.
So currently we're scheduled to table the possibility for December 2nd, which I'm very excited about because we'll get a chance to get our constitutions to our constitutions as well as the and they informed about that, and then also I should be having a meeting with everything usually one more time before the semester is over, but after they have to
Thank you.
So Jordan and I have drafted an email to send to Madam University once they approve we've also mocked up some posters as well to get that out there with the outreach. So once I get ready, if there is other than that, the goal is to get the information out there with the outreach to see what people want and what they want. While some of that is going to be
Thank you.
I also do not have too many updates, as I had to unfortunately postpone my meetings because of things that happened last week. However, I'm very excited that we have two new academic senators, our College of Arts and Sciences and our College of Health Sciences and Professions. Both of you will be receiving an email from me shortly to schedule a meeting. And as always, we still need a academic affairs commissioner. So please, if you or somebody you know or a coworker you know, somebody in your classes wants to kind of head that up, please encourage them to apply. Because right now I am unfortunately not adequately supporting the commission to the best of its ability, just because I have so many conflicting duties and timeframes, and I really want to be able to have adequate support behind that commission, because we are here to be students. And so if you know of anybody, please encourage them to apply, and hopefully we will have one shortly. And that is the end of my report.
Is that all the commission report?
Oh, me.
Thank you.
Okay, so my report is, I guess, technically from last week. Part of it at least. So thank you guys, anyone that, supported the churros that were on sale on Tuesday and Wednesday. They sold out, so that was great. We have finished gathering the list of international snacks, and I've sent it to culinary, so I'm waiting on them to respond. And then last week, Wednesday morning, I also had a very productive meeting with admissions, and we talked about the potential international trip. And so Mrs. Vicky said that the first step would be to speak with the computer science department to see how they could accommodate the trip and how they could facilitate like the best experience possible for the students. So I'm waiting for her to get back to me on that. And I was actually giving her until today. So tomorrow I'll send out an email to follow up. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Any Senate committee reports? Nope, we can move on. University committee reports?
So I had a pleasure of attending my first meeting yesterday with So for starters, there's a new expansion in the international studies undergraduate program. They're now requiring 42 credit hours, all distributions courses have been included. There's a much to report on that program right now. Also, sociology is coming out with a coursework in the city and curriculum when I'll be offered virtually in Switzerland as the part of my research and extended solution techniques. History and psychology programs are undergoing ongoing reviews. Reviews have been conducted and forwarded to the program directors. We can expect ACOM, social and public health, English, environmental science, and biology and chemistry. For their upcoming reviews, rating between November 7th and January 27th. Monthly reports are conducted that are then forwarded to the program directors and teams for report review, and then decisions are made.
Thank you.
Okay, so I attended first Budget Planning Council meeting on Thursday, November 3rd. The University Budget Council has the approach of the leveraging approach, that is leveraging financial aid towards students' enrollment. So for the 2021-2022 academic year, a total of 431,759,789 were allocated in the form of loans, student employment, and also grants. And out of this, 50% of which was in scholarship and grants, and also loans covered 47%, and then student employment covered 3%. So with this, what's the budget committee trying to achieve is to improve enrollment and also to maximize revenue and also to increase diversity. This is the end of the report, and then we hope we're going to meet in the next 2 weeks to discuss agenda 4.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other university report? Yes.
University Curriculum Council met for this one. This is the first one I was there. So it was pretty short this week. Made a couple of small changes to the curriculum, included removing redundant courses that are kind funded by other courses just
Mhm.
around and same.
Thank you. Thanks. All right, we can move on. All right, everyone. Hi. Here are a few dates that I think all of you should be aware of. Tomorrow, Thursday, November 10th, is the grand opening of the new Veterans Student Lounge in Baker Room 363. If you cannot stop by tomorrow, I recommend visiting the Thank a Vet page on the university website. You can submit a thank you note, a veteran profile, or donate to the Student Veteran Support Fund. The link will be included in my report. Monday, November 14th at 6 p.m. is our Student Senate Town Hall for the fall semester. This is an opportunity, a great opportunity, for the Senate to hear student experience and concern. You are all encouraged to attend, spread the word, and listen to your constituents. This will be a great opportunity to connect with our respective constituent groups and to get idea for our spring projects. November 23rd is the beginning of our holiday Thanksgiving break. This is a gentle reminder to check your syllabus or ask your professors before preparing to leave for break, particularly earlier than the 23rd. But that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm excited about the growing opportunities the Senate is taking advantage of and our ability to advocate for our students across campus. Thank you all for your time and your leadership. And as always, please reach out to me if you have any questions. That is the end of my report.
Hello, everyone. So I know it's kind of a difficult point in the semester, so hopefully everyone is hanging in there. We're almost through, however, and then all of y'all will get a much needed break. So I just want to remind everyone about some of the resources available to them, which can include CPS, the Dean of Students, of course, and the Academic Achievement Center in case you need to get some of those grades up. Also, please take time for yourself. Make sure that even if it's just 10 minutes in between class or before meetings, make sure you're doing something for yourself. Take a little walk every now and then. I always enjoy my little midday walk getting out of Baker for the first time all day. I will be visiting Judicial Panel on Monday during the meeting to help on the Wellness Day legislation. So if you guys have ideas or suggestions on that, please talk to me before then. I'm hoping to have it on the agenda before the end of the semester. And that's also a fun little reminder that Judicial Panel is here to help you, and you can go to the meetings. Anybody can go to the meetings. It's a great time. And then the last point that I have here is just, I know elections, and many of you have questions about those elections which are coming up. So I just want to give a reminder or a heads up to some of you who may not know that specific election questions can't be discussed in the office. The most commonality of those would include like signature sheets being signed, or tickets being discussed or possibly formed. None of that can happen in the office, just to make sure we have a good professional working environment still. However, if you have any questions regarding the process itself, so like dates that might already be in the rules and procedures, or how many signatures you might need, those questions are able to be asked. Basically, if you can find it in RNP, you can ask it in the office, but also you could find it in the rules and procedures as well. And then relatedly, if you're interested in learning about being vice president and my duties as vice president, please come talk to me. It can be really overwhelming at first, especially if you don't quite understand what the role entails. So I would much rather have you all come talk to me and know exactly what you're getting into first. I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you, schedule a meeting, we can go get some coffee or something. And I can kind of take you through what it looks like being vice president, what your duties will entail. And I'm more than happy to do that with anybody. All of the information that I will give anybody is going to be the same. So that way it's just an even, fair playing field. And that is the end of my report.
Okay, my report is a little lengthy, so I apologize in advance, but it's all important information, so I'll talk slow. Today was this semester's SAC training session from 12 to 1 p.m. It was centered around semesterly funding. There was an amazing turnout. There were so many people in the room. We ran out of seats, so that it goes to show how many people were there. There were a lot of questions and engagement from attendees. I'm looking forward to seeing how many student organizations take advantage of the funding cycle that is coming up. Additionally, pertaining to semesterly funding, it was originally scheduled to be due this Friday, November 11th at 5 p.m. However, with some concerns from constituents regarding the submission deadline, we'll be extending it to the following Friday, November 18th at 5 p.m. Any requests submitted after that deadline will unfortunately not be reviewed, but funding decisions for semesterly funding will take place on November 20th, Sunday, November 20th, during our SAC General Body meeting. And on that exact same day, we will also still be doing bi-weekly funding decisions, as the next bi-weekly funding deadline is also on November 18th at 5 p.m. So there's a couple of things that organizations can benefit from, but we are just extending the overall deadline. If you're interested or know anybody who may be interested in joining SAC, please consider referring them to the Senate application on Bobcat Connect, or referring them to somebody who is on SAC, me, the CIC, if they want more information about what SAC is. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. in Baker 235, there will be a SAC info session, which is going to be geared to provide more information on what SAC entails and what we do as a body. However, if that does not align with your schedule, because I understand there are a lot of classes that run through that time as well, I am more than willing to provide more information for anyone who may be interested in joining. Typically, I would provide an expenditure report to the body in the 7th and 14th week of the semester. However, because the 14th week lands on a holiday break for us, I'll be providing an expenditure report to the body next week at November 16th GDM. I don't have any discretionary spending to report. With that, we can head into the numbers. For our Senate total, we have $44,213.39. Allocated not spent, we have $11,139.80. Not allocated nor spent, we have $33,073.59. Our SAC total displayed on the screen is incorrect, and the correct amount is $274,637.81. Our spot fund displayed on the screen is correct at $271,413.28. And U fund is totaling right now at $3,224.53. And these numbers are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. However, my report's not over, and I'm so sorry. There is an opportunity to view the new Black Panther Wakanda Forever for free with your OUID at the Athena Grand Cinema on Port Street this Friday at 7 p.m. To pick up your ticket, if you're interested, you just need to go to the movie theater, show them your ID, and they'll be able to print out your ticket that you have to keep up with before the showing on Friday. You have to, so put it in the back of your phone case, do whatever you got to do. But I want to reiterate that it's free, and you also get free popcorn. So it's an amazing opportunity, especially on a Friday night. But with that, that is the end of my report.
Hi, everybody. So this is my regular weekly reminder to keep the office clean and send me your reports. If you gave me a university committee report tonight, please also send me those to the Senate email as well. And then also clock your office hours. However, this coming Friday is Veterans Day. The university will be closed, so you do not have to clock office hours if you have them scheduled on Friday. You don't have to make them up or anything. They're just waived. So do not worry about clocking your office hours on Friday. Just enjoy Veterans Day and enjoy your day off. Speaking of Friday, please go take part in the Veterans Day festivities. As I believe Vice President Cooley or Commissioner Shoulders mentioned, you can write letters to veterans either through the Veterans Center website, or they have tabling, I believe, all through the week. You can also attend the opening of the new Veterans Lounge tomorrow in Baker. Our Director of Veterans Affairs will be there, so if you see Mario there, go say hi. And then there will also be a parade Friday morning, so if parades are your thing, absolutely go out and attend that as well. Additionally, our Director of Community Service and Social Activity, Trinity, she is collecting food and supplies next week for Cats Covered. So you can donate non-perishable food items or any hygiene products. You can also donate meal swipes to Cats Covered that they can give to students in need. So they will be tabling at the top of Baker, so be sure to stop and say hi. And if you have any extra non-perishable food items, any canned food, anything like that, or any extra hygiene products that you want to drop off, please absolutely feel free to do that. If you print any flyers for events, no matter what they are, there is a manila folder beside of the printer. Please print an extra one and put it in there. That's going to go into the archives, and our historian is going to collect that. So make sure if you're printing flyers from the Senate printer, or even if you're printing them in Baker, print out an extra one and take it and put it in that folder next to the printer. And then finally, to echo Vice President Cooley, with elections and people thinking about what positions they want next year coming up, the Chief of Staff has a big workload. So let me know if you want to know more about what I do before you commit to this being your position next year. I definitely don't want y'all to go in blind to it. So shoot me an email or Slack DM if you want to learn more about what I do and more about what it means to be the Chief of Staff. And with that, that is the end of my report.
Hi everyone. So we have a town hall Monday, November 14th, 6 p.m. in Walter 135. Please write that down. You all have your computers out. Please write that down. Please come and support both Student Senate and answer any and all questions for our student body. An email is scheduled to send out at 10 a.m. tomorrow, so you also will be getting an email about that if you do not write it down in your computer or planner. Secondly, if you have not submitted anything to me regarding a new position or anything, please remember to send that so I can add you to the Student Senate website. We'd love to showcase you and all that you do. And then lastly, I did look this up, and I guess it's in June, but Men's Mental Health Awareness Month still. Please remember to check it on all your friends, family, and peers. Everyone can be affected by mental health. It's not just a singular person or anything like that. If you ever need anything, please feel free to reach out. My number is included in the minutes, and have a great week. And please come to the town hall.
All right. We are still looking for 3 more associate justices for the panel, so if you know someone who is interested, the application is still open on our Bobcat Connect page. And like I've been mentioning the last few weeks, this week is the official start when you can start forming tickets for next school year's Senate election. Like Vice President Cooley mentioned in her report, please do not do that in the office. Someone will notice and that will not be good for you. If you have any questions about elections, do not hesitate to contact me, Sora NRM. I have answered some of your guys' questions in the office, and I love doing that. I get to talk to you all. Election changes will most likely be on the agenda next week for everyone to vote on, so I'm excited for you guys to see all the hard work we've been doing. And lastly, if anyone has any proposed legislation to revise the RNP, those will need to be sent to the judicial panel by Friday of next week, so that they can actually be voted on this semester during GBM. And with that, that's the end of my report.
Hi, everybody. I have a quick report tonight. I continue to appreciate the work of all of you. I know that many of you are getting involved in university-wide committees. There are continuing to be more people in this room when we meet on Wednesdays, and so I'm pleased to welcome and see all of you. I know a lot of you are stretched really thin right now with classes, with Senate, with relationships, with families, with whatever those things may be for each of you. And so I would, as everyone else, I think almost before me has said, take time to take care of yourself and whatever that looks like for you, whether it be a walk or like you could look up some dad jokes on the internet. They're hilarious. Just have to tell you. Whatever those things are, to take a little break or put a smile on your face, please take some time to do that. Just a reminder, the Cat's Cupboard was mentioned earlier, and the Cat's Cupboard is available to all of you and your friends and all students at Ohio University. So if your times are tough and you need to take advantage of the Cat's Cupboard and get some resources that are helpful to you, please take advantage of that. And I would also encourage you, I know that Friday is a day off from classes, but it's also time for Veterans Day and to be thankful for the sacrifice and bravery of others. And so I would encourage you to go to the parade, stop by the Veterans Lounge opening, whatever that is for you, to show your appreciation for those who have sacrificed and given us so much to be able to be here today. As I've said before, I'm available to you. If you have questions or if you're concerned about friends, you're concerned about yourself, or whatever those things are, please stop by our office, or you can ask anyone here to come with you, and we're happy to help in any way that we can. And so with that, I will conclude my report.
Everyone, I want to point my roommate is actually the GA for that, so if y'all want some insights too for someone to talk to, she's more than happy to talk to anyone in this room. And she loves talking about cat cover. I even use it, so it's definitely a great resource if you definitely need directories for one week. So if you want her email, please don't hesitate to ask me, because she loves talking to any single one of you. Just two things. One, in case y'all didn't know, we only have 2 more GBMs left next week, and then the week we come back from Thanksgiving, which means the semester is slowly coming to an end. So please make sure you're taking care of yourself. You know, make sure you're getting enough sleep. Take study breaks. Come bug me in my office if you need to. Some of you have already been doing that, and I love it. It distracts me from doing my own work. So please continue to do that. And also, I know elections was brought up. You are also more than welcome to talk to me about it, because I lived through that whole thing the last year. And if you want a private space to talk about it in the office, you can definitely come to my office. You can definitely discuss it. But I will not be biased in you. I will give you advice that I will give to everyone. But other than that, if y'all need anything, reach out to me via Slack, via email. I'm here for all of you. Take care of yourself. And that's the end of my report.
Are there any objections to adjournment? Meeting adjourned.
All right.
No chances
No
today.
objections allowed.
After 8:30, they gotta.
What's that?
After 8:30, there's no questions.
You don't have in a
Please go away.
Chad, I can't deal with you right now.
Where did what's his face go? Damn. Why no updates? No updates, no? Yeah. That's not okay to me. I thought this would be done. Yeah. Thank you.